Hi, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I will show and explain in detail which gear I use for photographing and filming kingfishers and how I set it up. Next up, you will sit in a photography hide with me and my dad and wait for the kingfisher to hopefully show up and land on the branch. Lastly, we will go to the spot where I left my trail camera a few days ago and retrieve it, so I can take it home, recharge the batteries and check the memory card. My usual approach to photographing and filming the kingfishers is to do it from a photography hide. I've spotted and photographed them without it before, but your chances are much lower. And you can also quickly spook the bird, which is something I try to avoid as much as possible. When it comes to filming them, doing it from a hide is a must, because without it, you maybe get a few seconds, which is just enough to capture a few photos. But with video footage, you want to have the animal there for longer, to be able to capture their natural behavior and to get a few different angles. Ideally, I also record the sound of the animal, so the longer it stays there, the longer a recording I get to use in my films and YouTube videos. My favorite tripod is the Manfrotto with a Nitrotech N8 fluid video head. This tripod and head combination is, in my opinion, perfect for photographing and filming because it supports your camera and lens without any shaking or instability. The weight is a downside when you have to carry it, but a positive for stability. The fluid head assures that all of my movements are smooth and controlled without unwanted jitter. My only regret is that I didn't buy the 16 kg payload version. Onto the cam weight base plate with lens support. I use this for added stability when using the Sigma 150-600. I noticed that it further reduces the shaking that might come from the extended lens when zoomed in. It also carries a power bank, so it doesn't move around and cause shaking. I will explain later why I need the power bank. For kingfishers, I use my Nikon Z6 and Sigma 150-600 Sport. I prefer the Z6 over the D500 DSLR for resolution, image quality, and low light ISO performance. I get much worse autofocus tracking, but in this particular situation, it's not as important to me. And I use the Sigma 150-600 because it is the only lens I have with such a focal length. The 70-200 just wouldn't be zoomed in enough, even with the teleconverter. So as I mentioned, I am using the power bank paired with the Tether Tools on-site relay. It works as a dummy battery connected to the power bank, but also allows you to hot swap it with another one when empty. All of this comes in handy when you're sitting in a photo blind and waiting for hours, because otherwise I would be getting through the batteries way too quickly. Especially now as the days are getting colder and temperatures are dropping. So yeah, this system ensures me that I always have enough power for my equipment. It also prevents the unfortunate situations when you've been waiting for an animal and just as it shows up, your battery is dead and you miss the shot. The power bank has lots of juice, and even when it dies, the Tether Tools on-site relay keeps powering my camera, so I have enough time to grab the second power bank. Continuing on to the audio recording part. First, I am mounting my audio recorder Zoom H8 on this little stand. It's not the most practical way possible, but since I will be only sitting in a photo blind, it should be okay. I am using 10 or 15 meters long XLR cable to connect the audio recorder with the microphone. Today I am using my Sennheiser MKE600 with Triton Audio Fathead to boost the signal before it reaches the recorder. The wind protection is Rycote Classic Softy. The microphone is held by the InVision Softy Lyre mount. When recording specific sounds, like for example the calls of the kingfisher, you want the microphone to be as close to the bird as possible. The closer you are to the sound source, the louder the calls will be relative to the ambient sounds. I point the microphone towards the branch and cover it with a camouflage blanket. As you can see, the stream is full of small fish, which is perfect as the kingfishers will have a large selection. Now I turn on the recorder, enable the input from the microphone, set the gain levels, and start recording. All the gear is now ready, so it's time to move everything into the tent. From here on, I just stay quiet, keep my eyes on the branch, and listen for the kingfisher calls. Most of the times, you will hear it before you can see it, so you have a few seconds to prepare. Today, it wouldn't make sense to sit here and wait for the kingfisher, because I was recording the whole process and making way too much noise. I will come back tomorrow, do all the steps I just showed you, but quieter and inside the tent. In the meantime, I would like to show you a few photos and video clips of the kingfishers that I, together with my dad, got this year, so you can stop looking and listening to me for a moment and enjoy these beautiful birds. Alright, back to the video. It's the next day and I am again waiting in the photography blind, but this time in the pleasant company of my dad. It's very cold, and when you know that you will sit in the same place for a few hours without moving, it's really important to have many layers of warm clothing. I am using the same camera and lens setup that I showed you yesterday, and my dad is using the Nikon D500 with 70-200 sigma and 1.4 times teleconverter. That way I can concentrate on the filming and he is taking photos. It's also way more fun when the Kingfisher arrives and you have two cameras, so both of us have something to do. Unfortunately, the Kingfisher didn't show up this time. We heard it once, but it didn't come flying towards us. It's unlucky, but that's just how it is with wildlife photography. You've got to go outside with your gear, do your best, sometimes get the pictures, and sometimes not, and then repeat this whole process. I enjoy just being outside in the nature, so the days when I get home without any footage are not failures. Right, now to the last part of the video. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I've left my trail camera hidden in a spot that is very close to where we waited for the Kingfishers. It's actually a really interesting location that I managed to find. It's an old, partially broken wooden bridge that crosses a small stream. What I noticed is that there is a visible path going from the meadow straight across the bridge. And it's definitely not from humans, because the bridge just isn't strong enough. So it's definitely the animals that are using it. So yeah, that's the location where I left the camera, and now we are going to pick it up and take it home. Normally, I only replace the batteries and let it run on, but this time I am taking it home. We check the camera to see if it turns on, but it seems that the batteries have completely died. What is worse is that when I tried to offload the pictures and videos on the computer, I realized that the camera wasn't working properly, and so didn't capture anything. I tested it at home, and it was actually something wrong with it. Again, more luck next time. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video.